I've seen that before.
Hello and welcome to this broadcast of Michigan men's basketball. The fifth-ranked Wolverines getting ready to take on 4-4 South Carolina. The Gamecocks off to a rough start to the season. Michigan going for 10-0 for the first time since 2012. Jack, the South Carolina team has not had a good start to the season. What do they have to do to turn it around?
Yeah, they're 4-4 this season. They had a rough loss on Wednesday against Wyoming. They also have some tough losses against some non-conference teams in Wofford and Stony Brook. So they're definitely struggling this season, but Frank Martin really needs to get his team up, get them going, because Michigan is really good at getting in the sets, and they can knock down shots. But if South Carolina wants a chance today, they're going to have to get going on the fast break, force some turnovers, get their hands up, and not allow Michigan to get in their set, because Michigan's one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation.
Michigan and South Carolina about 3 minutes away from tip-off. The starters for the Wolverines, same as always. You have freshman Ignas Brazdeikis, sophomore Jordan Poole, junior Charles Matthews, junior John Teskey, and junior Xavier Simpson. For the Gamecocks, freshman A.J. Lawson, joined by freshman T.J. Moss, freshman Keyshawn Bryant, and then a couple of upperclassmen that were on that 2017 Final Four team for the Gamecocks, junior Mike Kotsar, their big man, and senior Chris Silva. They do still have these two guys from that 2017 Final Four team that made an improbable run that included a win against Duke in Greensboro, North Carolina. What kind of experience does that bring to a team, and does it help them in a big game like this in a hostile environment?
Yeah, it helps them a little bit. Michigan actually played down in South Carolina in 2016, and South Carolina stifled them that game. But I'm not looking at South Carolina's veterans. I'm actually looking at their freshman forward from Canada, A.J. Lawson, and he's also maybe matched up against Michigan's own freshman forward, Ignas Brazdeikis. So two freshmen from Canada. That should be an exciting matchup today. But the keys for Michigan, I really think, is to shoot the ball well. Against North Carolina and Purdue, we saw two really good shooting contests. Michigan shot over 50% from three, but they really struggle against Northwestern. And I think it's going to be interesting to see, will Xavier Simpson take some open shots today? 4 possessions in a row, he took open threes against Northwestern and missed all 4 of them. Is Beilein going to maybe put Eli Brooks in if they're going to leave him open? That'll be interesting to see today. But for Michigan, they need to shoot the ball well and slow down the tempo, because South Carolina is going to run up and down the floor a lot today.
Michigan coming off a big challenge at Northwestern. They survived with a 2-point win, but really their first close game of the season.
Yeah.
What did Northwestern do well to keep this game close?
What they did defensively, they kind of play that zone man defense. Like, it's kind of a hybrid defense, and they didn't really do too many things well. It's mostly that Michigan didn't shoot the ball well, but they kind of disrupted shooters, and that's what South Carolina's pretty good at. They're really good job. They do a good job of in the paint and keeping teams shooting below 30% from the field. So we'll see if Michigan can shoot the ball well today. But I think Michigan can just do its thing today. They're favored by 18.5. This should be a pretty good win, and maybe at the end of the game we can see some of those freshmen we haven't seen in Brandon Johnson, David DeJulius.
Getting ready for tip-off, it's going to be Teskey against Kotsar. What is the key for Michigan to kind of get this game going early, get a big lead, and allow these freshmen to get some experience in the second half? How does Michigan come out strong against a much weaker opponent?
South Carolina is actually really poor in the first half this year. They're minus 17, but in the second half, they're plus 52. So I think if Michigan can get off to a good start, that'll be huge. But I think the key is get the ball to your scorers, and Jordan Poole and Ignas Brazdeikis. Brazdeikis is so good at creating his own shots. He goes his left hand, he goes his right hand. Poole, he's been on fire lately. At one point this season, he had 10 out of 13 threes in a row. So I think the key for Michigan is to get the ball to their scorers and just do what they do, what they've done all season. It was just interesting against Northwestern. Michigan hadn't won a game by less than 17, and then for the first time all season, it's been a close game. But I think that was a good experience for them. You know what I mean? You're not going to go through a season, blowing out teams, but Michigan, this pretty young team, with a sophomore starting and a freshman starting, they proved that they can win a close game, but I don't see today being very close, Evan.
As we get into Big Ten play and get some of those Wisconsins, Michigan States, Ohio States, Iowas, Michigan will probably play some more close games, but like you said, this one should not be all that close. It'll actually be Silva taking the tip for the Gamecocks.
And as you heard before, Michigan is #1 in KenPom defense, and this South Carolina team has struggled from the field this season. They've shot below 30% 3 times, so look for a low-scoring game from South Carolina today if Michigan and Luke Yaklich, Michigan's assistant coach, can keep up that defensive performance they've sustained all season long.
The Wolverines have not given up more than 64 points all season. Silva wins the tip for South Carolina, and TJ Moss will get it started for the Gamecocks.
Michigan coming out in their man-to-man defense per usual.
Moss gives to Silva. Now it's Bryant. Down low to Kotsar. Kotsar working against Brazdakis. Kotsar, a little turnaround up and no good. Battle for the rebound. Simpson comes up with it. Quickly in transition down the floor is Poole. Poole lobs it up to Matthews, but a bad pass and it went out of bounds.
2-on-1 there. Xavier.
With it. Going to hand to Simpson. Now with 10 on the shot clock. Simpson drives to the basket. Kicks out Brazdakis in the corner. Wide open for 3. No good.
Good shot there. Xavier Simpson drew 2 defenders.
Moss pushes the other way. He's got Lawson. Lawson drives and an easy lay-in for him at the rim. Ties the game at 2.
And that's exactly what South Carolina will have to do to have a chance in this game. Push the ball, kind of get Michigan on their heels.
Simpson working against Moss. South Carolina playing good defense on these first couple possessions. Simpson nowhere to go, and they're going to call a foul on Moss. And a new rule in college basketball last season, Moss invaded his, I don't know how to describe this, his circle of space. I don't know. It was a new rule in college basketball last year. Nobody really understood it then. I still don't quite understand it.
But I think you're going to see a lot of that today. South Carolina likes the pressure defense, get some tips on the balls, and nice pass there to Teskey.
Simpson, great pass to Teskey inside.
Silva had the block, but I think it was goaltending.
It was a goaltend on Chris Silva, so the basket will count for Teskey, and a great feed from Simpson. Such a good passer. Moss setting up the South Carolina offense. Working against Simpson. Gives to Kotsar, who's working against Brazdakis. Now back to Moss. Moss gets a screen. Back to Kotsar. Kotsar puts it down, working against Brazdakis. Now we'll have to kick out to Silva. Just 5 on the shot clock. Silva working against Teskey, 4 on the shot clock. Silva puts it up with just 2 on the shot clock. Rolls off the rim. Rebound by Matthews. Simpson back the other way.
Once again, good post defense from Teskey. He's so long in the post. It's really hard to score against him.
Simpson finds Poole in the corner. Poole for the elbow from Simpson. Brazdakis looking for Poole, but turns back around. Brazdakis now to Simpson on the elbow. Simpson drives in, lays it up, and Teskey fit the follow. It initially got blocked by Keyshawn Bryant, but Teskey, good follow there. Wolverines back up 5. Bryant quickly now back the other way. Drives against Teskey, no good. Teskey too big. Brazdakis the rebound now quickly to Matthews, and Matthews will pull it back out and set up the offense.
Kind of interesting defense on the last possession there. Kotsar.
Matthews, Simpson in the corner, up top to Poole. Now Poole drives, had it stripped away by
No foul
Lawson.
call.
Lawson with the 3-on-1. Kotsar, the easy lay-in is good.
Yeah, once again, South Carolina pushing the ball, but going back to the earlier possession, TJ Moss was up in Xavier Simpson's face on the perimeter. I thought we would have saw maybe TJ Moss kind of step back a little bit and protect against the penetration and maybe allow Xavier Simpson to shoot, but that was not the case. And you see TJ Moss putting a lot of pressure on Xavier Simpson at the block end.
South Carolina going to get some subs into the game here. Simpson tries to find Teskey on another pass. That one was a bounce pass, and it got knocked away. Lawson now the lob to Bryant, who missed the alley-oop slam. Michigan's got numbers the other way. Jordan Poole lobs it up for Teskey to let go.
Still pushing the pace a lot, so Michigan cannot get set defensively, but they've missed some open shots in transition. That's kind of killing them as Michigan's pushing it the other way.
Again, Michigan leads 7-6 at the first media timeout. And Xavier Simpson had a tough game shooting the ball at Northwestern earlier this week, but he's really looked to create for his teammates early. Had a great pass to Teskey, had another one that nearly got to Teskey but got deflected. Xavier Simpson's leadership on this offense goes so beyond just scoring and passing. He really controls everything, and for not being the best shooter, he's really still critical to this offense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, him coming off ball screens and him distributing, I mean, he's one of the best point guards in the nation at that. You know, you got Teskey coming off a ball screen, he's rolling to the basket. Xavier can make a no-look pass all day long, and that throws defenders off. But, you know, if Xavier Simpson's able to distribute and penetrate off a ball screen, I think that will suffice. I don't think you always need a point guard that can, even in this day and age, that can shoot the three off of a ball screen. But, you know, that's definitely a bonus. But if Xavier's going to keep up this passing off of ball screens, I think that's, you know, just fine. You know, Teskey, whether that be a bounce pass low or you'll see, you know, a few times this game, the defenders will be looking at the ball and then Xavier Simpson will just kind of lob the ball up and Teskey will, you know, slam it home. So maybe we'll see that a few times today as Teskey goes to the free throw line for the first time today.
South Carolina getting some subs. Hassani Gravitt and Trey Campbell into the game as TJ Moss will head to the bench along with Keyshawn Bryant. Teskey's free throw is no good. Silva the rebound. And we're going to get a play stop here.
I don't think the clock started.
So the clock did not start after Teskey's missed free throw. So Campbell, fifth-year senior guard, will bring it up for the Gamecocks. Working against Simpson. Gives to Kotsar. Excuse me, that's not Kotsar. That's Felipe Haas into the game for Kotsar. Hassani Gravitt swings to the corner. Now back up top to Lawson. Lawson working against Matthews. Lawson drives, and it's going to be a foul on Matthews. A little grab as he crossed him over.
Hassani Gravitt checks into the game. He was one of the two players on this team that was on the 2016 Final Four team, upsetting Duke, and it seems like Gravett still has that funny hairdo.
Gravett, the senior guard. Lawson looking to inbound, gives to Campbell. Campbell working against Simpson. Finds Lawson. Haas wanted down low. Now a good pass wide open is Silva. Good cut to the basket right there. Just wide open in the middle of that Wolverine defense.
Yeah, Teskey was a ball screen defender there, and he didn't communicate too well with Livers there. Pretty easy basket for South Carolina.
Simpson passes to Poole. Poole nearly stepped out of bounds, and now he throws the pass away. Campbell back the other way quickly in transition. Campbell up against Simpson. No good. Great defense by Simpson. Isaiah Livers now finds Jordan Poole in transition. Poole up to the basket, fouled by Gravett. Could not finish, but he'll shoot 2 free throws at the line.
Yeah, Poole threw it away, and he didn't, rush back on defense. And once again, South Carolina misses a basket in transition, and that allows for a pretty easy opportunity for Michigan, as Xavier just threw ahead, or I think it was Livers that just threw it ahead to Poole, who hadn't even crossed half court.
South Carolina 2 points off turnovers, but it could really be 6 or 7.
Yeah, they're not capitalizing today.
Poole's first free throw is good. Michigan back up by 4, 12-8, 14-19 to go in the first half. Eli Brooks will check in for Xavier Simpson.
And how about Eli Brooks? A huge 3 against Northwestern on Tuesday night, and he's just one of these point guards that just lets the game come to him. He doesn't try to force anything. He gets shots within the offense, and that was a huge 3 he knocked down, followed by Brazdeikis 3 on Tuesday night against Northwestern.
Criticized player last year, but he's really coming together for John Beilein this year. Alonzo Frink into the game for Chris Silva for the Gamecocks. Now it's Gravett working against Poole on the other end. Poole made both free throws, so it's 13-8. South Carolina nearly threw it away. Lawson somehow recovers a wild sequence. Gravett in the corner for 3. That's good. So 13-11 now. Wolverines lead.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of tip your cap. A funny play there. Ball was thrown away, but Gravett gets a wide open 3 and knocks it down.
Teskey gives a screen to Brooks. Now Brooks lobs to Teskey. Knocked away by Haas. Here comes Campbell back the other way. Gravett in transition. Drives baseline. Kicks back out to Campbell. Campbell for 3 and the lead. No good. But the rebound by Haas. So South Carolina will keep it. Haas puts up a quick mid-range jumper. That's good. And South Carolina ties this game at 13 with 13:30 to go in the first half.
Yeah, that was just that's just watching film. Haas was on the help line, and he knocks away the lob to Teskey, and then comes down to the other end and knocks down the shot to tie up this game.
Teskey gives it to Brazdeikis, who cut to the basket. He was fouled on the way by Lawson, so he'll shoot 2 free throws. But this Michigan team kind of sleepwalking through the first 7 or so minutes of this game. South Carolina playing with much more energy, and that's why this game's tied.
Yeah, that was the key for them, is to get in people's faces, and they're doing a really good job on ball screens. If you're on the weak side, they're over the help line, and they're not allowing Michigan to throw these lob passes off the ball screen or throw these bounce passes into the lane, and they're really getting their hands on these balls.
Brazdeikis' first free throw is no good. Xavier Simpson will check in for Jordan Poole. So they'll run a little 2-point guard lineup. Austin Davis into the game for the first time for Teskey. Davis had a rough game at Northwestern this week.
Yeah, only played a few minutes.
TJ Moss back into the game for South Carolina. Brazdeikis' second free throw is good, so Michigan back in front now. It's 14-13. Here comes Campbell. Campbell gives to Haas. Haas hands to Moss, who's right back into the game. Campbell down low to Haas, working against Brazdeikis. Haas, a little hook shot, no good. Davis grabbed the rebound. He was fouled from behind by Frink. So it'll be a Michigan ball back the other way. That's 5 fouls now in South Carolina. Meanwhile, the Wolverines just 1 foul.
South Carolina 6 for 16 from the field. That's 37%. They're getting some pretty good looks down low. They're not hitting much of the shots. So this game is a lot closer, and South Carolina's getting a lot better shots than I would have expected today.
Simpson working against Gravett on the baseline. Kicks to Livers, who's also in the game for the first time. Livers no good. Brazdeikis came for the putback. In a wild sequence where he came hard to the ground. He was fouled on the way, so he'll go to the line. Livers also had a rough game in South Carolina. Brazdeikis had a good look at that dunk, just jumped over everybody. He'll shoot 2 more free throws here.
Yeah, Brazdeikis is so athletic. He came flying in from the three-point line, almost put back Livers, missed three.
Brazdakis' free throw is good. Evan Hinson is going to check in for South Carolina. Trey Campbell head of the bench. Hinson, the two-sport athlete. He plays tight end for the Gamecocks football team.
Who struggled this season as well in a tough SEC conference.
Brazdakis' second free throw, also good. So Michigan leads 16-13, 12:46 to go in this first half. Moss bringing it up now, working against Simpson. South Carolina plays a lot of different players now, Hassani Gravett, and we've seen a lot of them already early. Here's Hinson working against Livers. Hinson gives to Moss. Great defense by Simpson to knock the ball away. Now Hassani Gravett working against Eli Brooks, calling for a screen from Frink. Gravett to Frink. Frink drives against Davis. And a good drive right there by the freshman. Gets 2 points right there, 16-15 back the other way.
Yeah, Davis has to know that's not a three-point threat right there. He kind of left his feet out on the perimeter, and that allowed Frank to drive right past him.
Livers up top to Davis. Now Brazdakis working on the wing against the Gamecocks tight end, Evan Hinson. Brazdakis drives, kicks into the corner. Wide open is Brooks. No good for three. Davis fighting for the rebound. Davis grabs it up top to Brazdakis. Brazdakis wide open is Livers in the corner. No good. Isaiah Livers really rough shooting the ball in the last few games.
And it was kind of last season too, kind of midway through the season, he kind of lost his mojo from that corner three of his. He likes that corner three, and he's been struggling from beyond the perimeter. An offensive foul there on Moss.
Moss hit Brooks as he went by. Brooks was guarding Hassani Gravett. So we'll hit the under 12 media timeout. Michigan 16, South Carolina 15. Michigan struggling a little bit defensively, and they also have not scored a field goal in the last 3:46.
No, Michigan continuing its shooting struggles from last game. They're 1 for 5. Their only three today was a Jordan Poole jab step three. But, Livers and Brooks, 3 open looks on 3 straight possessions, and, you'd wish for those to go down. So Michigan's still up by 1, even though they've had some shooting struggles today. But once again, South Carolina's pushing the pace. They're getting some pretty good shots down low, and it's still kind of mind-boggling that Ignas Brazdakis is guarding. He's only 6'6", and he's guarding South Carolina's big men, whoever that may be. It was Haas for a while, and then it was Kotsart at the beginning of the game. So we'll see if maybe Teskey comes back in, he starts guarding Haas or Kotsart. But Michigan needs to knock down some of these open threes to kind of open up this game.
Some updates from around the country. Number 10, Michigan State playing at Florida. They lead 9-5 early. Number 9, Kentucky playing at Seton Hall. They lead 11-9. Some other Big Ten play later today. Maryland will take on Loyola Chicago, who Michigan is all too familiar with from a matchup in the national semifinal last year in the Final Four. Michigan did beat Loyola Chicago to advance to the national championship before, of course, losing to Villanova. Number 12, Wisconsin will take on Marquette at Marquette. Number 24, Nebraska will take on Creighton as well. So some good action for the Big Ten today. Only college football today is the Army-Navy game. That'll be at 3:30 p.m. Always fun to watch that. And then Michigan hockey taking on Minnesota, the second of 2 games. They got an overtime winner last night. They'll take Minnesota on again tonight at 7:30 p.m. WCBN Sports, as always, will have the call at youtube.com/WCBN Sports. It'll be Nick Hornberg and Lucas Vargas on that one.
How about the Big Ten in basketball this year? 8 ranked teams currently in the AP Top 25. I mean, I don't know when's the last time that has happened. 8 out of 14 teams in the Top 25. But, I feel like at the end of this season, a lot of these Big Ten teams like Maryland or Iowa kind of fall off. So right now, the Big Ten looks really strong. It's going to be a fun Big Ten schedule for Michigan.
It'll be interesting because, like you said, win a lot of non-conference games, and they get into a tough conference slate. And you've got teams like Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue, Wisconsin. All these teams can be tournament teams. They only sent 5 to the tournament last year. But it'll be interesting who can survive conference play and get to 17, 18, 19, 20 wins, because that's really what you need. And that can be tough if you go 500 in conference. You're a bubble team, and the conference had a lot of bubble teams last year.
Yeah, and with the extended conference play this year, Michigan has already had a taste of away conference game, and that was on Tuesday night against Northwestern. It's not easy. Every single conference game, you cannot take easy, even against maybe a weaker Northwestern team. So some of those away games in Maryland and Michigan State, those are going to be some good dogfights for Michigan. And that's why, these next 3 games against some weaker opponents, some people may call them cupcake games, Binghamton and Air Force, you got to take them seriously, kind of work out the kinks before conference play starts.
And Matthews caught the pass out of bounds, so it'll be a turnover back the other way. And another aspect of this is, as long as Michigan is a top 10 team, and undefeated or not, just a top 10 team in general, they're going to get every team's best shot.
Oh, yeah. You saw Northwestern, you saw Collins, the coach for Northwestern, how badly he wanted to win that game. He was literally on his knees. And like you said, Evan, they're going to get a lot of teams' best games this season.
Gamble gives to Sonny Gravitt. Gravitt to Kotsar. Kotsar working against Matthews. Campbell gets it into the lane, a little floater off the glass and in. So South Carolina leads for the first time today, 17-16, and the Wolverines just cannot stop turning the ball over.
Campbell came off the curl screen right there. Livers kind of left his feet, and he hit a bank shot floater. You kind of have to tip your cap on that one. But South Carolina with the first lead of today's game. 6
turnovers for the Wolverines already. Livers finally finds Matthews. Under 10 on the shot clock now. Matthews working inside against Hinson. Matthews, that turnaround jumper in the lane that he loves so much. And Matthews hits, so it's 18-17. Wolverines retake the lead. South Carolina back quickly the other way. Silva drives into the lane. Up and good. So South Carolina takes the lead right back, 19-18.
Silva going right through the 7-footer John Teskey. It looks like South Carolina is playing with a little more passion today. They're playing very, very aggressive. And, Michigan really hasn't played a team like this that's pretty aggressive in the lane. So Michigan's going to have to step up today.
Matthews backs down against Hinson. Matthews, tough floater up, and Teskey could not tip it back in. Rebound Silva. Here comes Campbell back the other way. Campbell gives to Silva. Hinson to Campbell to Kotsar. Gravitt cuts to the basket. Kotsar working against Livers. Kotsar, little hook up off the glass and in. South Carolina extends their lead to 3. It's 21-18. 9.5 to go in the first half.
You just cannot let these South Carolina big men get into the lane to start with. They're going to hit those shots.
Teskey, the mid-range jump shot, no good. Matthews grabs the rebound. South Carolina had 3 guys fighting for it, and it ends up in 2 points for Charles Matthews.
Big point there for Michigan. Michigan needs to stop here and get the ball going to the other side here.
Kotsar loses the ball. Here comes Xavier Simpson in transition. A weird little play right there. Into the corner. Wide open is Isaiah Livers for 3. Got the feed from Jordan Poole, and the Wolverines right back in front. 8:58 to go in the first half. What changed in the last couple sequences for Michigan?
South Carolina only had the lead. I had the lead only like 2 minutes ago, but finally Isaiah Livers knocks down a shot from the corner. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted to see from him all season. Jordan Poole at the extra pass, but Michigan, giving South Carolina a taste of their own medicine. If South Carolina is going to push the ball, Michigan will push the ball. And kind of a funny sequence of events right there. Frank Martin, the coach of South Carolina, wanted a foul call, didn't get it, and Xavier Simpson smartly pushed the ball the other way. Michigan has the lead once again in a lot closer game than we expected. Michigan only up by 2.
Quick 30-second timeout right there. So it's 8:58 to go in this first half. It'll be South Carolina ball coming back the other way, quickly blowing a 3-point lead after the Isaiah Livers 3-pointer.
South Carolina just really kind of punishing Michigan down low. They're a pretty big team, and they're going to push Michigan around. Michigan has to push back.
Campbell gives to Bryant, feeds down low to Silva, and the foul. Poor defensive play from Isaiah Livers. So Silva will have a chance to retake the lead now for South Carolina. We're tied at 23 as Silva will go to the
ball. He's got to have his hands up there, maybe block that entry pass that was thrown right over his head. And we have a dead ball here. I'm not sure what the refs are reviewing at the table here.
They might be reviewing for a flagrant foul on Livers. He hit him from behind on the foul. I'm not sure, have not yet seen a replay.
South Carolina has only taken 2 3-point field goal attempts, and that's just not their game. They're kind of playing towards their game, and that's why this game is tied. They've taken 21 shots. They're 11 for 21, which is pretty good, but they've also missed some bunnies. South Carolina is really playing well today. Getting some deflections, pushing the ball. It was actually a review for the game clock. They said it's at 8:45.
So Silva will shoot the second free throw, or the first free throw of the and one, the only free throw. On the floor right now for South Carolina is Hassani Gravitt, Lawson, Silva, Bryant, and Kotsar. Felipe Haas is going to check in for Silva after the make, so South Carolina goes back in front 24-23, getting a little back and forth lead changes right here between both teams. For the Wolverines, it's Jordan Poole, Simpson, Matthews, Brazdakis, and Livers. South Carolina with a little full court pressure now.
1-2-2 zone. We'll see if they switch back to man once they cross half court.
Simpson swings to Matthews. They're still in the zone. Xavier Simpson setting it up, and now in a 3-2 zone, it looks like. Matthews swings to Brazdakis on the corner. Brazdakis puts up the three, no good. Knocked out of bounds by Lawson, so it'll stay with South Carolina.
Can knock down that shot. A shot kind of, in the flow of the offense.
Not a bad look against the zone. Simpson now swings to Brazdakis again. Instead of shooting, he drives this time up, and he's fouled by Kotsar, so he'll go to the line and shoot 2 free throws.
Yeah, Brazdakis drives right back past Hasse there on the baseline. You're playing his own defense. You cannot let a man go baseline, and Brazdakis makes him pay there. 2 shots here for the freshman from Canada.
Brazdakis, 3 of 4 from the line so far. Make it 4 of 5 as he hits to reach out of the game. Teskey will check in for Livers. We lost our connection there for a second, but Jack and I are back. So it's 27-27, 7:25 to go now in the first half.
It's again, South Carolina came right down the floor and didn't even get into a set. And that's why Michigan has to really focus on picking up the ball. South Carolina has to be giving defensive specialist Luke Yaklich a headache today.
So a close game so far. Was not expected to be close. Michigan favored by 17.5. South Carolina's put up a good fight on both ends, getting into the paint and scoring offensively, and then defensively, a lot of different looks, some tight man-to-man pressure, some full court 1-2-2 zone, and different ways. So how does John Beeline respond?
John Beeline really has to tell his team, got to pick up the people on offense because they're not going to stop. They're not. You rarely see Frank Martin call out a play. It's going to be push it and go. And you got to pick up guys like Kotsar, who's 4 for 5 from the field today, and Brasdeikis is doing a poor job of defending him. You really cannot even let him get the ball in the post because once he's in the post, Brasdeikis has no chance to defend him. So hopefully Beeline and Yaklich can come up with a defensive scheme here that will stop these Gamecocks, which are taking it right to the Wolverines. Offensively, though, I wouldn't worry too much if I was Beeline. We haven't had many shots knocked down today. We're only 2 for 7 from 3, 9 for 17 from the field. So offensively, I would say just continue to push the ball when South Carolina pushes the ball and misses a shot. But offensively, just keep on running that motion offense that they do, get some high post action like they usually do, and hope to knock down some more shots. But as for Michigan, it's mostly defensively where their struggles are coming from today.
South Carolina has hit 6 field goals in a row. They've scored on 7 straight possessions, the longest stretch against the Wolverines this season. John Teske leading the way for the Wolverines with 8 points, 3 rebounds. Brasdeikis has 7 points and 3 rebounds. Meanwhile, for South Carolina, Kotsar, 8 points of his own. Chris Silva has 7 points and 3 rebounds.
Kotsar's doing a good job of he's not camping inside the lane. He's kind of starting outside and moving in, and that's kind of giving Brasdeikis some struggles. Brasdeikis is unable to deny the post entry, and Kotsar's getting pretty good position on him down low. So hopefully we see a switch where Teske's guarding Kotsar, or Brasdeikis is doing a good job of preventing the post entry.
South Carolina shooting 55% from the field, the Wolverines 53%. Those 6 turnovers early from the Wolverines also helping to keep South Carolina in this game, although they've only scored 6 points off the turnovers. Michigan out-rebounding the Gamecocks 13-6, but that has not translated to a lead on the scoreboard. South Carolina dominating the paint. They've scored 18 points in the paint. We've already had 12 ties and 6 lead changes.
Yeah, I mean, if South Carolina was able to capitalize on some of those turnovers, this could be a 7 or 8 point South Carolina lead. So give credit to South Carolina. They came out with the gameplay today, and they're really taking it to Michigan.
Brasdeikis already 5 of 6 from the line. He'll shoot free throws again here. Michigan in the double bonus the rest of the way. South Carolina has fouled them 9 times. They're 7 of 9 so far from the line today, but free throw shooting has not been the strength of this team.
And it wasn't last year either. I mean, they kind of fixed it near the end of the season, but in games like this where you're in the double bonus with 8 minutes left in the first half, you got to knock down those free throws. They're 3 points.
Brasdeikis good on the first. Make it 6 of 7 from the line. He has 8 points total. Brasdeikis loves to drive, so he shoots a lot of free throws for this Wolverines team. Second free throw is good as well, so make that 7 of 8. He's got 9 for the Wolverines. Back the other way comes Trey Campbell. Campbell gives to Lawson.
Brasdeikis still matched up on Kotsar.
Campbell gets a screen from Silva into the lane, kicks it out to Gravett, now swings it up top to Kotsar. 15 on the shot clock now. Kotsar drives against Brasdeikis, and they're going to call a charge. Great defense from Brasdeikis, just cuts off Kotsar's drive to the basket, and that's an offensive foul.
That's the first offensive foul we've seen today, and that's how you defend a team that's taking it to you. That's kind of putting their head down, and Brasdeikis, made a veteran move, and sometimes you forget he's only a freshman.
That's 10 team fouls on South Carolina. Simpson now swings to Poole. Poole thought about shooting, working against Lawson. Poole, tough defense now, 15 on shot clock for the Wolverines. Poole nearly loses it out of bounds, but swings it to Teske inside. Now Teske throws it away, picked off by Campbell back the other way. In transition comes Silva, swings it out to Lawson up top to Gravett, who had a 3, but he dropped the ball. So South Carolina will reset now. Campbell working against Isaiah Livers up top. This crowd getting into the game. Silva swings to Lawson. Lawson against Brasdeikis. Lawson drives, nearly lost it, throws it away. Xavier Simpson back the other way now. Bad turnovers by both teams. Simpson finds Teskey. Wide open is Livers in the corner for 3. Isaiah Livers from the same spot again. Michigan back up by 5.
And that all starts with Jordan Poole on the defensive end denying the post entry into Kotsar, and that caused a turnover. Michigan comes back down to the other end and knocks down a 3. Pretty big turn of events there. Michigan up by 5.
Kotsar swings it back up top to Campbell. Now we're down to 10 on the shot clock in the South Carolina possession. Great defense from the Wolverines, starting to get more energy on that end. Campbell to Silva down low, working against Livers with 2 on the shot clock now. Silva puts it up, no good. Battle for the rebound, strong play by Livers, but it was taken away by Lawson. Easy 2 right there. These refs letting a lot go on both ends. It's gotten very physical. Now South Carolina's hit 6 of their last 7, make it 7 of the last 8 field goals.
That's tough to see. Michigan did everything right for 28 seconds on the shot clock, even got the defensive rebound, but stolen away from the guard.
Poole drives to the basket. Livers wide open again in the corner, no good. And Brasdakis tips the rebound away from Gravitt. Brasdakis now open, drives to the basket, up against Gravitt, and Brasdakis with the good finish at the rim. Michigan back up by 5.
Michigan gets an offensive rebound of their own and capitalizes on it. Nice drive there from Brasdakis.
Silva drives against Teskey. Silva's shot up and no good, but Silva comes up with the rebound that was tipped by Teskey. Wide open is Trey Campbell for 3, no good. A battle for the rebound, but Poole gets it off the tip from Teskey. So back the other way now. Under 5 to go. Michigan leads by 5. Wide open Brasdakis from 3. Off the pass from Poole, no good. Good rebound by Kotsar. And so South Carolina will bring it back now. 34-29. Michigan leads. 4:40 to go in the first half. And going to stop the clock again. Not sure what's going on here.
Frank Martin working the refs today for sure.
Maybe more issues with the clock, but
I'm actually not sure.
So Michigan leads 34-29, 4:40 to go in the first half. Michigan finally starting to get back into a little bit of a rhythm offensively, but defensively still struggling when South Carolina can get the ball into the paint.
Yeah, but these last 4 or 5 possessions, they've done a good job of not even allowing the ball to get into the paint in the first place. And they're turning defense into offense, and that's what they've done all year. It starts on a defensive end for Michigan.
Refs stopped the game. We're 40 seconds away from the under 4 media timeout. Believe they're looking at the clock, but we do not have confirmation. They've stopped the game to look at the clock once already in this first half.
Looking at the stat sheet right now, Evan, Jordan Poole is 1 for 1 from the field and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. And it was just kind of like last year, Jordan Poole, he was arguably the most efficient player because you'd only get like 12 minutes and he'd be like 4 for 4 from 3 or something like that. You kind of want to see Jordan Poole get into the offense a little more, or kind of get into a rhythm more, take some more shots. But I think he's also doing a good job of not forcing stuff, letting stuff come to him. And that's something he kind of learned last year as a freshman. But you wish you'd see a little more of Jordan Poole on offense. It's been a lot of Brasdakis who's done a good job, but Jordan Poole is such a shooting threat from outside. You'd wish you see him take maybe 3 or 4 threes per half, because he's such a sharpshooter from beyond the line.
Poole 5 points, 2 assists, and a rebound tonight. Poole has worked hard to be more of a creator on offense, improving his ball handling skills and passing the ball, but we know that he can shoot. We know that he can drive to the basket and score. He seems to pick his moments, but he could be more assertive, like you said.
Yeah, Campbell's done a good job on him today. He's pushed out against Poole, not allowing him to get any open threes except for that one in the corner. That's just, watching video, watching the scouting report, and Frank Martin's putting Campbell, arguably the best outside defender, on Poole today.
Gravitt inbounds to Lawson, so not really sure what the clock stopped for there. Neither team called a timeout. Brasdakis is leading the way with 11 points so far. Gravitt, good pass inside to Silva, and it was blocked by Davis, but they'll call a foul, and that'll be the 4th team foul for the Wolverines. Davis is first. Silva will shoot 2.
Yeah, you forget how good of defensive player John Teskey is until he's out of the game. You saw Davis is in the game now, and just an easy post entry. He was trying to front number 30, Chris Silva, and a nice bounce pass into the lane and an easy opportunity here from the line, but he misses the first one.
Silva no good on the first. Davis was -9 in 7 minutes at Northwestern on Wednesday night. A really rough performance for him.
Last year it was Mo Wagner, and then when he needed a break, it was Teskey to come in, and that's why part of the reason why they were so good last year. Teskey was probably a starter on any other team in the nation, maybe other than a few teams, but now Davis is the backup for Teskey, and he's definitely struggled this year, especially defensively.
Silva missed both. Poole working against Gravitt. Poole pulls up for three. He was fouled by Gravitt, so he'll shoot three from the line.
He's so good at that, kind of sticking out his leg like an NBA player and calling the foul, and refs continue. I don't want to say fall for it, but, Jordan Poole definitely a bit of an acting job right there from outside.
He did it on the shot that he hit against Houston on the buzzer beater.
Yeah.
That can be called an offensive foul if the refs see you kick your legs out. It's a dangerous play. Poole no good on the first free throw.
But he almost falls down to the ground as well, so he does a pretty good job, but it's still an accurate shot. You'll see him get an and one from the three-point line a few times too, because he'll get fouled and still make the shot. He makes the second one there.
Poole good on the second free throw, so Frink and Campbell will check into the game for Gravitt and Silva. They're on the court along with Bryant, Lawson, and Kotsar for the Gamecocks. Poole good on the second 2 out of 3, so 36-29. Michigan leads, about to hit the 4-minute mark in this timeout. South Carolina's kept this game close, but the Wolverines have a 7-point lead right now. Lawson drives to the basket against Brazdakis. Good block by Brazdakis. Back the other way now. Brazdakis pushing it up, working against Kotsar. Brazdakis all the way to the rim. Now he's going to hand it off to Davis, who nearly lost it out of bounds, and he throws it away out of bounds.
And Beeline is not happy with Brazdakis right there. He wanted to take the ball all the way instead of kind of dishing it off to Austin Davis, who had no choice other than to throw it away right there after fumbling it.
So Michigan leads 36-29, 3:39 to go in this first half. That's 9 turnovers for Michigan so far. They are 11 of 14 from the line. That's been really strong for the Wolverines. 7 of 8 for Brazdakis, and Poole is 4 of 5. Out-rebounded South Carolina 18-8, but South Carolina, again, dominating in the paint. They've got 20 points in the paint to just 12 for Michigan. The Wolverines 3 of 10 from behind the arc, while South Carolina just 1 of 3. Brazdakis leading the way with 11 points, 5 rebounds for the Wolverines. On the other side, it's Chris Silva with 7 points, 4 rebounds, and Mike Kotsar with 8 points.
Maybe you want to see more of Brandon Johns. I mean, we haven't seen him this year, but we don't know how good he is defensively and what he does in practice and stuff like that. But when Teskey's out of the game, it hurts Michigan offensively as well. And Brandon Johns, I know he was a huge offensive threat in high school out in East Lansing. Last year, he was one of the best basketball players in the state of Michigan, and we haven't seen him at all this season. Maybe we could use him a little bit in this game where we need some offensive points when Teskey's out of the game. But we've yet to see any of those freshmen beside Brazdakis. We've seen a little to Julius and Brandon Johns in the first few games when we were up 30 points, but last year we didn't see Livers and Poole until kind of the second half of the season. So maybe by the end of the season, Brandon Johnson and DeJulius, who were pretty highly recruited, will kind of work their way into the offense. But we've yet to see them at all this season. Beeline's kind of working with a 7-man rotation, maybe 8 if you count Davis.
Updates from around the country. Michigan State leading Florida 24-21 as they're under 5 minutes there. Kentucky tied with Seton Hall 15-15. So some good close games around the country for top 10 teams. And you kind of hit that point in the season right now where it's like you've got a couple non-conference games left before you hit your conference schedule and really get into the swing of things in Big Ten play, or in Kentucky and Florida's case, the SEC. And these games could be tough to get up for.
Yeah, they are. Last year, Mo Wagner was injured during that stretch, and I think that kind of motivated them, and a lot of different people stepped up. But, after that big Northwestern win, Michigan is not coming out today and playing as well as they have. They've won every game by more than 17. You heard that stat a lot, and they just weren't. They didn't seem like they were ready for this noon game. But I'm sure Beeline will make some adjustments going into the second half. We still have 3 minutes left here in the first half. But it's really the physicality. The South Carolina team is pretty big, and they're just taking it right to Michigan. And Michigan needs to fire back here, which they've done a pretty good job. They're up by 7. But we'll see what happens the rest of the half. Maybe go in a locker room with a 10-point lead, 10-point cushion. That would definitely be nice.
Michigan again leading 36-29, 3:39 to go in the first half. It's been much closer than we expected, but the Wolverines have a chance to get this to double digits before halftime and go into the locker room feeling pretty good after what was a rough first half overall. Campbell will bring it up for the Gamecocks. He'll work against Jordan Poole. Hands it off to Lawson. Lawson gives to Bryant. Bryant swings it back to Campbell. Gets a screen from Kotsar. Campbell to Frink. Frink hands off to Bryant. Bryant to pull up mid-range jumper over Brazdakis. No good. Simpson the rebound back the other way. Simpson thought about firing it down the court to Brazdakis, but he pulled back, and it would have probably been the 10th turnover. Now Simpson drives to the basket. Little hook shot up and no good, but the foul by John Teskey does go. The putback dunk from him. Wolverines by 9 with 3 to go.
What a foul by John Teskey. He's done that a lot this season, just kind of flying in from the lane.
Kotsar, good handles in the lane, but it's still blocked by Teskey. Now the crowd really getting into it. Jordan Poole drives all the way to the rim. Poole nearly lost it out of bounds, but Brazdakis came up with it. And Jordan Poole pull it back now. Working against Kotsar. Poole pulls up for 3. Jordan Poole, no good. Teskey nearly had it. It's going to say it's out of bounds off of him. So South Carolina ball back the other way. 38-29, 2:33 to go.
John Beelan not too happy with that shot from Jordan Poole. Teskey and Livers almost got it from the weak side, but, I think I'm fine with that shot. Jordan Poole is such a good three-point shooter, and if you got Teskey and Livers kind of going after the offensive rebound, maybe they get a chance for a second chance point.
Campbell setting it up for South Carolina. Michigan on a 6-0 run over the last nearly 3 minutes. And another turnover now. Poole tipped the pass. Simpson back the other way. Kotsar blocked it up, but they're going to say it was goaltending. So that'll go down for Simpson. Michigan leads 40-29 now. Crowd loving this run. It's 8-0 over the last 3 minutes now for the Wolverines. South Carolina on a 3-minute scoring drought. They've missed their last 5. Just one of their last 7 field goals have gone down. Michigan a 13-2 run over the last 5 minutes overall.
Michigan doing a really good job defensively of keeping their hands up and deflecting passes and getting in passing lanes.
Silva drives to the basket. Teskey, more good defense, but a great finish by Silva right there.
He even wanted a foul. Teskey has to do a better job of knowing that Silva likes to go to his left hand, and he drove right past Teskey. Easy bucket.
40-31. Minute 45 to go. Simpson had it stolen away by Lawson.
No kickball.
Teskey getting back. Lawson went up for the slam. He was fouled by Teskey, so he'll shoot 2. 40-31, 1:37 to go in the first half.
The Michigan bench definitely wanted a kickball there. It looked like Campbell kicked the ball. Or excuse me, not Campbell. Lawson kicked the ball before coming down to the other end. But he'll shoot 2 from the line.
Lawson's first free throw is good, so it's 40-32 now. Michigan, South Carolina trying to scrap back a few points here before the halftime break. Michigan's 11-point lead was their largest of the game. Lawson's second free throw, good as well, so 40-33, back to a 7-point game now.
Let's see if Michigan can get into a few offensive sets here before the half ends and get this lead back to double digits before heading into the locker room.
Teskey up top to Brazdakis. Brazdakis gets a screen from Teskey. Brazdakis into the lane, up, no good. Great defense by Chris Silva, who also grabs the rebound. Here comes Lawson. Lawson a quick drive. Silva pulls up for 3 in transition off the pass, and that's good. Chris Silva cuts the lead to 4, so a minute 5 to go now. 4-point game. South Carolina going on a quick 7-0 run of their own.
And now into a 2-3 defense.
Livers. Simpson. Back to Livers. Tipped out of bounds by Lawson, but it went off Livers, so back the other way for South Carolina. That's turnover number 11 for Michigan. South Carolina a chance to cut this back down to a 1-possession game here before halftime.
Yeah, right when you think Michigan had figured it out, Silva hits a 3. They're giving Michigan a few different defensive looks. And now they have a chance to make this a 1-score game.
Hotzar finds Hinson in the corner, working against Brazdakis. Hinson drives against Brazdakis. Hinson had it blocked by Brazdakis. Poole comes up with it. Back the other way now for the Wolverines. Simpson finds Brazdakis. Poole, and they'll slow down and take a full possession here. There's 26 seconds left in the half, 20 on the shot clock, about a 5-second difference here. Simpson working up high against Lawson.
South Carolina back to man.
Teskey finds Livers in the corner. Livers drives in, kicks to Brazdakis, steps up off the pump fake. Ignis Brazdakis hits. 10 seconds left in this half.
Poole was open for three. He wanted the extra pass, but Brazdakis takes it himself. Nice little shot fake.
Lawson with three. Stripped by Xavier Simpson. Simpson throws it down, but nowhere near. So Michigan will go into halftime with a 6-point lead. It's 42-36. Ignis Brazdakis leading the way with 13 points, 5 rebounds. John Teskey has 10 points, 5 rebounds. Jordan Poole, 7 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. For South Carolina, it's been Chris Silva. He's got 12 points and 5 rebounds, along with Kotsar, 8 points, and Lawson has 7 points and 4 assists. This game has been much closer than we expected, Jack. So what did South Carolina do well in that first half, and what can Michigan improve in the second half?
South Carolina played the game exactly like they wanted to. They led the tempo the entire way. They pushed the ball offensively, and they finally started hitting some shots after not capitalizing on some transition offense early in the game. And they're really holding Michigan offensively, especially from beyond the line. Michigan's only 3 for 11 from 3, and South Carolina's doing a good job of getting their hands in front of Michigan's passing lanes and everything like that. So Michigan really, really has to get into their sets and play their own game and lead their tempo.
Michigan struggling with turnovers, 11 of those turnovers in the first half. South Carolina playing intense defense, playing strong offense in the paint.
Yeah.
It'll be a closer second half than we expected. What do you think will happen out of halftime? Do you think Michigan finds themselves and takes over the game, or do you think South Carolina keeps this close the whole way?
I think Michigan figures it out. I think Michigan started to figure out the end of the half there. They were denying the post entry, not allowing the ball to get into the post in the first place, and that led to some offense. And it's like I said, defense leads to offense with this Michigan team, and they started doing that, making sure the South Carolina bigs weren't getting easy opportunities like they were. So if they're not allowing the ball to get in the post and allowing Michigan or South Carolina to take some outside shots, I think Michigan has a chance to open up this game in the second half.
Michigan's biggest lead in the first half was 11. South Carolina's was 3. We had 6 lead changes, 6 times tied. Michigan did lead for over 15 minutes of the half, but every time they got a big lead, South Carolina battled back. So that'll be all for us for the first half. Jack will be back in just a few minutes along with Daniel Thompson for the second half, but that'll be it for me. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Welcome to this WCBN second half broadcast. I'm Daniel Thompson, joined alongside by, once again, Jack Molino. It was a perhaps disappointing first half for the Wolverines, up by 6, and that's never really a huge loss.
Yeah.
But maybe not the first half they were looking for. Want to break that half down for us, Jack?
We probably just saw South Carolina's best half of basketball this season. They've lost some games against some pretty bad teams, but they're playing the number 5 team in the nation pretty close right now, and that's because they played to their style of game. They got the ball down low, they let their bigs go to work, and they didn't let Michigan have any success from 3-point line. Michigan's only 3 for 11, and they continue their struggles. We saw against 2 of the best games we've seen in a while, North Carolina, Purdue. Michigan was so good from beyond the arc, but when they struggle from beyond the arc, they got to find different ways to score, and they didn't really find that. Maybe Brazdeikis taking the ball to the basket, a little Teskey here and there, but Michigan has to get their ball to their scores. But to be honest, it starts on the defensive end. Michigan has to deny all the post entries because, South Carolina is not going to shoot the ball from beyond the line. They're not a big 3-point shooting team. They're going to force the ball down low, and they're going to force it quick. So if Michigan can deny those post entries and turn defense into offense, I think Michigan can open up this game in the second half.
Indeed, South Carolina does not like to test their luck from beyond the arc, really.
No.
Chris Silva, the big man who is 28.6% from beyond the arc this season, hit a 3 late in that first half. And that's just a bit of bad luck. The Wolverines not play one of their better games. Against Northwestern, they struggled a bit too. That was by far the closest game of the season yet for the Wolverines. And in that one, Northwestern just hit a bunch of contested shots.
Yeah.
And if South Carolina was really a team that liked to shoot the 3 ball and they had been hitting threes like Northwestern did, then Michigan might be in some real trouble here.
Yeah.
Having a very un-Michigan, 11 turnovers in the first half alone. Usually Michigan doesn't even get to 11 in the whole game.
Yeah. Yeah, South Carolina, that's what they like to do. They like to get their hands up and force turnovers. But, it's been Kotsar and Silva, the 2 big men down low in the first half, and Michigan has not done a good job of contesting shots, which they're usually so good at.
Here we go. Jordan Poole inbounds the ball to Xavier Simpson to get the second half underway. Simpson drives to the rim and banks one in off the backboard for a quick 2 points and a 44-36 Michigan lead.
Yeah, South Carolina pushing the ball already all the way down into their offensive set.
Keyshawn Bryant now driving to the rim. Doesn't get it, but Chris Silva's there for the follow-up for another easy 2 points, and he's been having himself a game.
And we see it again. South Carolina, the easy bucket, not even 10 seconds into the shot clock. They like to push the ball and push it fast.
Already Silva's 12th point of the game. Jordan Poole tries to lob one up for John Teskey. It fails. However, Charles Matthews comes up with the ball from the ground and is fouled in the act of shooting. He will go to the line. He had 2 fouls pretty early on in that first half, and that sidelined him for most of it.
Yeah, you're right, Daniel. We didn't see him for the last 10 minutes of the half. And look at that. South Carolina already substituting 2 players in, and that's what they're going to do. If they're going to push the ball and they want fresh legs, they're going to sub, maybe 25 times a half. And you only see Michigan play 7 guys, but South Carolina's been playing 8, maybe 9.
Charles Matthews sinks his first free throw, making the game now 45-38. Michigan is not a team that excels on free throws, but the past few games here, they've actually done quite well.
Yeah, part of that is because, it's been a lot of Brazdeikis at the line. He's one of the better free throw shooting players on the team. But you're right, in a game like this where South Carolina is going to probably – or Michigan's going to get to the bonus, halfway through the period, Michigan's going to have to make some free throws today.
The second free throw bounces off the rim and is easily rebounded by Chris Silva, and South Carolina now takes possession. Playing it into Kostar down low, and Kostar sinks an easy 2. And those baskets have been there for South Carolina so far in this game.
The entire game, and I'm still questioning why is Teskey not on Kotsar? You know what I mean? Kotsar is – or – Brazdeikis, is definitely undersized against Kotsar. Maybe you see a bigger Teskey on him later in the half.
Xavier Simpson now leading the offense, finds John Teskey near the rim, trying to work it on Silva, and banks one off. No good. Recovered, though, by Charles Matthews, who is now quadruple teamed, and finally brings the ball back out to Xavier Simpson to restart the offense.
Charles Matthews isn't the best shooter, but that's what he brings to the offensive rebounds.
Matthews now fires the 3 and proves you wrong, Jack.
Yeah, Charles Matthews knocks down a 3. Probably his only 5th or 6th three-pointer of the season, but that all starts with his offensive rebound.
And that re-expands Michigan's lead to 48-40, 8-point lead. However, we're going to have a shooting foul down low, and that is going to send South Carolina to the line.
For the 10th time this game, before I can finish my color commentary analysis, South Carolina is already driving to the basket. That's what they've done all game long. They really just kind of make one quick pass and then a jab set to the basket. Michigan commits its second foul of the half.
The officials actually ruled it a common foul on the floor, so it's going to be an inbound here. And now we have Trey Campbell with the ball for the Gamecocks. Gives it to TJ Moss, the freshman, who is able to convert the mid-range jumper. 48-42 now, Wolverines lead.
That's Moss' first point of the game. He's 1 for 1 from the field now. Xavier brings the ball down the right side and a ball screen from Teskey.
Xavier Simpson still with the ball. Cuts across the court to Jordan Poole, who fires from beyond the arc, and he sinks a consecutive threes from the Wolverines to expand the lead to 51-42.
Xavier Simpson's so good that coming off a ball screen and he sees Jordan Poole on the other side of the court. That's a 20-foot pass, and he puts it on the money into a shooter's hand. Jordan Poole knocks down the three.
Chris Silva now with the ball, guarded by John Teskey. Charles Matthews nearly gets a piece of that pass, but it stays with the Gamecocks, and a totally errant pass. Don't know who that was to. Brazdakis errantly tries to recover it and ends up stepping out of bounds while touching the ball, so it will remain Gamecocks ball, and I don't think he needed to try to go after that ball.
I don't think he did either. Teskey and Brazdakis kind of looked at each other, and they said, oh, wait, which one of us is going to get the ball? And they kind of both went after it, but you're right. I don't think neither of them had to go after it.
The miscommunication results in an inbound to A.J. Lawson, the Canadian freshman, who hits the three and makes it 51-45. So a mental error there puts 3 points on the board for the Gamecocks.
It's South Carolina is taking advantage of everything that's being given to them. They're now 3 for 5 from beyond the arc.
So 51-45 right now. Xavier Simpson with the ball, gives it to Charles Matthews, who steps back from the free throw line off the rack of the rim and recovered by the Gamecocks. So 51-45, South Carolina with the ball and a chance to really get back in this game that they've trailed for most of, but they never quite go away.
Never quite go away. That's exactly right.
A.J. Lawson driving to the basket, and he is rejected. John Teskey recovers it, and now the ball is up to Charles Matthews, trying to score quickly on a fast break, and John Teskey with a man between him and the rim cannot finish and is assessed with a charge.
Not a bad call there. Number 30. That's Silva. He was out of the restricted area, and he was set definitely before John Teskey went up for that huge dunk.
And despite the disappointment, there really wasn't much of a fight here from the crowd in Crisler Center. They accepted that one. So South Carolina is staying in this one. Chris Silva, the Gabonese went to high school in New Jersey, but from Gabon originally. He is having himself a great game. He was a part of that 2016-17 team that made the Final Four. Has been a big part of why South Carolina is still in this game. An open look now for Maik Kotsar, who passes it back in low to Chris Silva. Guarded fiercely by John Teskey, and a low percentage shot was had to be fired up. John Teskey on the rebound landed on A.J. Lawson, who is assessed with a personal foul for tripping up Teskey.
Frank Martin and the South Carolina bench looking for a foul there. No foul call on Teskey. And then a stupid foul there on Silva before Michigan could go down the other way. That's already South Carolina's second foul.
And that'll bring Silva to the bench. Frank Martin keeps him out of foul trouble for the time being. Those are two very big bodies hitting the floor right there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Simpson now leading the offense. Gives it to Jordan Poole, who is triple teamed but fires off a three. And falling down, he sinks that one. The Wolverines now lead 54-45, and they've been money beyond the arc for this half.
That's Jordan Poole's patented jab and then a step-back three-point shot.
Felipe Haase, the Chilean, is unable to finish on a layup, and the Wolverines now quickly bring the ball forward in transition. Teskey thinks about shooting a three, gives it to Poole instead. Falling to the court this time, does not get that one, and is rebounded by the Gamecocks. So the score will remain 54-45. Gamecocks lob one up and cannot finish a rebound. Teskey lobs one forward to Simpson to Poole for the easy slam, 56-45. And the Wolverines have regained the 11-point lead they had at one point in the first half. That is their largest lead of the day.
Once again, Jordan Poole not really getting back on defense, but it kind of pays off in the end as he has
Okay. And welcome back. We apologize for those technical difficulties. Not sure what happened. That was a rare TV timeout from WCBN. We go commercial free, perhaps the best thing about WCBN Sports. But you didn't miss much action there. The game was dead for nearly the whole time. To recap for anyone just joining us or lost due to the technical errors, it's 56-45. Finished off a dunk to put Michigan in a convincing lead. And South Carolina now has the ball taking over. The ball to Kostar down low, and he finishes that one off despite the double team. And Jack, you've mentioned it. Michigan has put some smaller bodies on Maik Kostar, the Estonian, and that's not been working for them.
He actually came up the ball screen there, and Brazdeikis was not on the help bucket there for Simpson. He's fouled on the other end, and then another media for the under 16-minute media timeout. And I thought the timeouts, a timeout under 16-minute counts as the media timeout, but apparently not.
I'm very confused here.
I thought they created a rule where if there's a coach's timeout, 30-second timeout under the 16-minute mark, that counts as the media timeout, but apparently not.
I was under that belief a long time out there. Maybe Fox Sports, who is broadcasting this game, it did not go to a commercial break during that previous WCBN. Here, we don't worry about commercials.
No.
We give you the game the whole game long. And right now, we can tell you something you won't get from the TV. The T-shirt cannon is out right now, firing away from our side. So no hopes of getting the T-shirt right now, but plenty of fans excited to win those T-shirts. You ever caught one of those?
No, I have not.
Michigan or elsewhere?
I think a Bulls game. I used to be pretty good at catching them.
All right. TV, what did I say? In the meantime, both teams are still huddled up. The Wolverines lead by 9, though. They've never quite pulled away in this game, but they've never really been in danger.
No, I mean, South Carolina had a 3-point lead for about 10 seconds in this game. But Michigan came right back and started playing some defense and started picking up the defensive intensity. And that kind of led to some easy baskets in the first half. But you're right, Michigan has never really pulled away either.
Indeed, that was a bit of a problem during the Northwestern game. The Wolverines led by as much as 13 in the second half of that one. And, of course, ended up only winning that game by 2 after a desperation 3 failed. So the Wolverines not quite out of the woods here yet. It's still 14 minutes and 53 seconds of basketball to be played in a game that's been closer than most would have thought. Michigan, of course, with an unusually large amount of turnovers in this one. 12 in total. Very un-John Beilein-like.
No. Well, in South Carolina, that's kind of one of their pillars of their defense is, forcing turnovers and getting hands on passes and passing lanes. And they're really kind of doing that today. But South Carolina hasn't really done a great job of capitalizing on those turnovers. So this game could be even closer if South Carolina could capitalize on some of those turnovers as they push the ball into transition. But I think Michigan's doing a fine job defensively in this half so far. They've done a decent job of taking care of Kotsar and Silva down low, but they need to do that for another 15 minutes to close this game out.
Indeed, it's looking good for the Wolverines, but they haven't quite pulled away as they would have hoped. They're going to get the ball here, though. Jordan Poole set to inbound it, and maybe they can expand their lead to 11 or 12. 11 is the largest lead they've had so far. They lead by 9 presently. Charles Matthews gets the inbound and gives it to Xavier Simpson, who's going to start the offense from well beyond 3-point range.
South Carolina in a 2-3 defense here, or a 1-3-1, I should say.
Simpson considered it, did not fire from beyond the arc. He was 0 for 5 in that regard against Northwestern on Tuesday.
Xavier Simpson called for a carry, and in this day and age, you don't really see carrying called a lot, especially in the NBA. A lot of those guards like Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving arguably carry every time they touch the ball, but the ref saw it there and called it.
So it'll be South Carolina ball. Jordan Poole with a good defensive play, and the ball did, in fact, go off T.J. Moss, so it will be Michigan basketball. And that shortly after giving the ball away with the carry violation, Michigan gets the ball immediately back. So Good effort there on the defense to help the offense maybe get this game over with for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Jordan Poole and Xavier Simpson are so good with their hands defensively, forcing turnovers. Especially Xavier Simpson, he'll deflect a lot of passes. And Jordan Poole, pretty underrated defender. You know, he struggled last year as a freshman, but he's gotten a lot better defensively this year.
Xavier Simpson now brings the ball down the court to lead the offense, working his way toward the rim and banks one off the backboard in. 58-47, Wolverines lead, and that really is his shot. For such a short player, he really does like going to the rim.
He goes to the rim and kind of lofts it up, now allowing the defender to block it. You'll see that hook shot once in a while from the right side as well.
Brazdakis guarding Felipe Hasse, who rolls one around the rim, does not fall, though, and the Wolverines might have a fast break opportunity here. Brazdakis drives to the rim and is unable to finish, but Charles Matthews gets the rebound, so the Wolverines will retain the ball. They pass the ball back out to Xavier Simpson, and now Charles Matthews back with it, driving to the rim, hesitates, and fires one up. It will not go in, but he does draw the shooting foul and will be taking a trip to the line. Charles
Matthews sure does love that kind of jump stop, step back, turnaround shot. Though you like to see him maybe kind of take it to the basket a little stronger sometimes because he has such good size and athleticism. But he decided to kind of jump foul there. But laying that far, you kind of wish you'd see him kind of finish it off and
from the check at 13-17 as his first one. So 59-47, that is now the largest lead of the day for the Wolverines.
See if Michigan can get a few defensive stops here before that second media timeout and maybe capitalize on that on offense and kind of put this game away.
Simpson looking to go 3 for 4 on the day, and he does not, as that ball hits the front of the rim and does not fall through. So Wolverines are 13 for 18, which is still a marked improvement from what they usually shot last year. A.J. Lawson now brings the ball up for the Gamecocks. The true freshman is their highest rated recruit on this team. Kotsar loses the ball to Charles Matthews. He gives it to Jordan Poole, who finishes underneath the rim, and that makes it 61-47. Wolverines lead by 14.
What a finish by Jordan Poole. South Carolina comes right down to the other end.
Hassani Gravett is able to launch one from beyond the arc. The redshirt senior was a member and a starter on that 2016-2017 Final Four team. He makes it an 11-point game again.
And South Carolina has been doing that all day long. Right when you think South Carolina is out of it, they make a three or they make a huge play.
Xavier Simpson is fouled while going to the rim. And Gravett is really the only talented three-point shooter who gets significant minutes on this team. Matthews, meanwhile, is going to the line. And currently, the Wolverines are winning the team fouls battle in this half. Gamecocks have committed 5. Wolverines have committed 2. So you can expect a lot of free throws down the stretch for the Wolverines.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Michigan entered the double bonus with 8 minutes left in the first half. So already 5 fouls here before the second media timeout here in the second half.
Xavier Simpson's first free throw bounces off the inside of the rim and goes out. So that'll keep the score 61-50.
Going back to the play before, Jordan Poole on the fast break, kind of showing off his athleticism and creativity. He lost the ball. Looked like he was going to have to pass it away, but he somehow corralled it and made a reverse layup. He is such a special, talented player.
It was a fantastic move to save that play and end up converting for the 2 points. Speaking of converting, Xavier Simpson makes his second free throw, making the game 62-50. But a quick possession for the Gamecocks. They find Keyshawn Bryant down beneath the rim, and he puts that away to keep the score at 10, 62-52.
The freshman from Winter Haven, Florida. Nice little hop step there over the pretty talented defender, Charles Matthews. Nice drive there by Bryant.
So it's 12.5 to go in this one. The Wolverines have yet to pull away. Jordan Poole fires from beyond the arc, and that one goes in. Even his heat checks are falling right now. 65-52. Jordan Poole was well guarded, just decided to step back and fire one. It falls through. Wolverines lead by 13. The Gamecocks have found Kotsar beneath the rim, guarded by Brazdakis and Teskey. He travels, and the Wolverines will take over, and that's going to prompt the under 12 timeout.
And Jordan Poole kind of adding a mix to the offense. You know, a lot of Michigan's offense is off the ball screen and driving to the basket, but Jordan Poole is so good off the dribble, kind of making a shot a little bit out of the flow of the offense, but he knocks it down, and that's why he's such a special player. You know, he can hit that step back three a little bit like Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman last year.
So during this media timeout, we'll give you a couple of scores from across the country. The most interesting one, of course, right now is Michigan State is traveling to Florida to play the Gators in Gainesville. Michigan State leads 43-39 right now, 13:20 to go in that one. So those games will finish at basically the same time. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, sticking to Chicagoland itself, Northwestern is down at home by 14 against DePaul. Not a good look there for the Big Ten, especially the Wolverines, who won by 2 in Evanston.
And once again, Northwestern is not that great a team. They're probably not a tournament team this year, but they gave Michigan their best game. And Evan and I talked about it. Michigan's going to see that a lot. Michigan's going to get a lot of teams' best games, and that's why it's going to be a tough season. But all that does is prepare you more for March, because, in March you're getting, everyone's best game of their season, because everyone's trying so hard in March to make it to the Final Four. And, once conference play starts, any road win in conference is a big win, even if it's against a weaker team in the Big Ten like Northwestern. So those away games like Michigan State, away at Maryland, away at Iowa, those can be some tough tests for Michigan. And Michigan has to use these next 3 games against some weaker opponents in Western Michigan, Binghamton, and Air Force to kind of work out the kinks and stuff like that before conference play starts.
Fortunately for Michigan, they do not have another road game in conference for over a month. They will travel to Urbana-Champaign to play the Illinois Illini, but that is many games away.
Yeah.
After this last last Power 5 non-conference game, the Wolverines will finish up non-con play with 3 games against Binghamton, Air Force, and Western Michigan. I gave you those in reverse order, but those will be the 3 games to round out December. And then the Wolverines will be back in Crisler on January 3rd against the Penn State Nittany Lions. And they aren't going to have to leave Crisler Center for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a good time to, work harder in practice, work on the shooting. Michigan hasn't shot the ball too well from beyond the line these last 2 games, and, really prep for that non-conference schedule, which is going to be very tough this year.
It will be. Their next road game will be January 10th against the Fighting Illini. That one shouldn't be too difficult of a game, but it is a road game in the Big Ten. Right. And then, of course, when they have to go to the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin on January 19th, that will be a big one.
But before that Illini game on January 10th, they've got some two good teams coming to Crisler, and Penn State and Indiana. Indiana with obviously that top 5 pick, Romeo Langford. That should be a pretty good game. And those are some pretty good teams. Indiana with that new coach in Archie Miller, and they're going to be a dark horse this year in the Big Ten, I bet.
In the meantime, as a lot of the top-rated teams will do battle, Michigan, with a win here, can kind of coast their way into 2019 at number 5 and hope to just move up the rankings after beating some weaker non-con teams.
Yeah.
But that's all the future. Right now, Michigan needs to take the lead to hold on to their lead here. Eli Brooks is going to lead the ball up the court to start this possession. Austin Davis also in the game. Charles Matthews in the corner elects not to shoot and is going to drive to the basket instead, double-teamed, and wisely tries to pass it out to Ignas Brazdeikis. The ball is tipped out of bounds, though, by the Gamecocks and will remain with the Wolverines. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock, though. Wolverines are going to have to hurry out of this inbound pass.
The only 5 seconds, we'll see what John Beelan draws up for his team right here. Maybe Jordan Poole coming off a down screen for a 3-point play.
Eli Brooks will have the duty of inbounding the ball to Ignas Brazdeikis, who is going to the rim, has to shoot, gets it up, is fouled, and makes it. The official blows the play dead, though, and is going to actually call it a charge foul against Ignas Brazdeikis. And you can hear the folks here at the Crisler Center do not agree with that one.
Yeah, not a bad call, though. Silva was definitely in position there. Excuse me, not Silva. It was
that looked to be Alonzo Frink.
Correct. That was Frink. And he was definitely in position. Brazdeikis with the shot clock running out of time. He definitely had his head down. Not a bad call there.
Frink definitely put himself in a favorable position in a call that could have probably gone either way. Frink does have the position and gets the call. Now on the defensive side, Jordan Poole gets pushed over by Keyshawn Bryant. No call on that one. And the crowd is really into it now. The Boo Birds are raining down. Isaiah Livers with the ball beneath the basket finds Charles Matthews in the corner. That one does not go in. Almost rebounded by Austin Davis, who cannot quite get it and falls out of bounds. Gamecocks now pushing the ball down the court. Trey Campbell with the ball. Finds teammate Alonzo Frink, who cannot convert from beyond the arc. Keyshawn Bryant does finally get the ball in, though, from about a foot away. It was Evan Hinson actually in on that one. So 65-56, Wolverines not out of this one yet.
Yeah, going back to the play before, Jordan Poole took a charge but no call as he turns the ball over here, but he's fouled. Or, excuse me, out of bounds, I believe. No, it's going to be a foul call, excuse me. But Jordan Poole took a charge there and a no call, to the surprise of many fans here in the Crisler Center. And Jordan Poole has improved defensively, and that's one of the reasons why he's taking a lot more charges here. I think he possibly leads the team in charges.
And Jordan Poole is quite a bit smaller than the scorer for the Gamecocks, who ended up getting the Keyshawn Bryant, who weighs in at 190 pounds. But
once again, South Carolina makes this a single-digit lead.
Xavier Simpson back in the game with the ball and finds Jordan Poole in the three-point range. He now fires a two, and that's a nice floater. That was kind of from about 10 feet away. Not great shot selection, but he made it work.
Yeah, Jordan Poole showing off his arsenal. As there's going to be a foul there on South Carolina. That's number 20, Alonzo Frink.
And the Wolverines were entering the bonus right there. That's the 7th foul against the Gamecocks. So Michigan will now take over. That was an offensive foul at the time, though. Trying to rebound over John Teskey was Keyshawn Bryant. He fouled in doing so the Wolverines take over. And finally now they are going to give the ball to John Teskey on the line. There was some confusion. Xavier Simpson was ready to inbound it. So now a couple of less than ideal free throw shooters are going to visit the line in a row here for the Wolverines. But the Wolverines have shot all right from beyond the arc today. 14 of 20, 70% is above what they averaged last year for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And once again, the refs are going to the review board for the third time this game. I'm not sure why, if it's a clock issue or not.
That's what I would have to think it was. I mean, they called a personal foul against Keyshawn Bryant. Not sure exactly what they're looking at, although John Teskey seems rather confident he's going back to the line. 10-12 on the shot clock for now, or on the game clock, rather.
Daniel, did you know that Frank Martin and John Beeline actually coached together at the World University Games in 2013, and that's why they were actually playing each other today. In 2016, they played a home game down in Columbia in South Carolina, and then this is the second game of the contract.
John Teskey's first free throw looks good. The second one rattles off the inside. But no, I was unaware of that going into this game.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So they're pretty good friends. You know, they spent 15 days in Kazan, Russia, coaching the World University Games as some of the best college athletes play against other college athletes around the world.
Evan Hinson is way short from beyond the arc, but that's recovered by Chris Silva, who is rejected by John Teskey. That ball goes out of bounds and will stay with the Gamecocks. The initial three did touch the rim, so that, although you could barely tell, that will reset will reset the shot clock. So the Gamecocks have a bit of time here. But Kazan, Russia, I recognize that was a World Cup city.
Yes, it was.
From this summer. I want to say that's like in southern central Russia, if I can remember, from the World Cup this year. But Keyshawn Bryant now with the ball following the inbound, and now Alonzo Fink with it, guarded by Ignas Brazdeikis. And that one rolls around the rim before finally falling in.
And Coach Frank Martin has a pretty interesting history, you know, part of an immigrant family in Florida, and didn't get into coaching until kind of on a whim he decided to want to coach basketball, and he worked his way up all the way to the head coaching job at Kansas State, and now since 2012 the head coach at South Carolina.
Taking the Gamecocks to the Final Four in 2017, Ignas Brazdeikis drives to the rim, is rejected, but that ball, which was sailing out of bounds, is caught by Isaiah Livers, who finds John Teskey down below, and John Teskey is fouled. He will go shoot a 1-and-1.
Teskey will go to line again. Nice play there from Livers to drive to the basket. Quick jump stop and a little dish to Teskey.
So with 9:04 to go in the second half, the Wolverines have only expanded their halftime lead by 4, as they lead 68-58. However, John Teskey now shooting a 1-and-1. The front end is good. That one didn't touch the rim at all. Nothing but net. Wolverines now lead 69-58, which is a pretty nice lead, all things considered. But against South Carolina, they might want to get a bigger lead.
Charles Matthews back in the game for the Wolverines as Eli Brooks hits the bench.
And Teskey goes 2 for 2, bringing him up to 3 for 4 on the day. Wolverines looking better at free throws than they might normally be considered to be. Chris Silva now driving to the basket, That ball is ruled dead, though. There was a foul on the court before the shot was attempted. So South Carolina will inbound. That's only going to be foul number 4 on the half against the Wolverines. South Carolina might never enter the bonus in this one.
Yeah, Michigan, especially under assistant coach Yaklich, is a pretty disciplined defensive team, not allowing many of the teams they play to get into the bonus.
Fink gets the rebound and finds Hinson now. Gamecocks taking their time, passing the ball around the perimeter. Ball goes back to Hinson, they cannot penetrate into the 2-point zone at all. And finally, Keyshawn Bryant drives to the basket, was guarded well by Charles Matthews, but the ball does go in off the backboard.
Charles Matthews asking for some help from his defenders, especially Ignas Brazdeikis, who kind of missed the help defense right there as the South Carolina player drove all the way to the basket.
Ignas Brazdeikis is left wide open from beyond the arc. Cannot get it, though. That ball's a little bit short. Charles Matthews does pick up the rebound, though, and the Wolverines reset on offense, giving the ball back to Xavier Simpson. Simpson with the ball guarded closely by Trey Campbell. Now driving to the rim, loses his handles, though, and finds Charles Matthews, who is wide open, and he sinks his three-pointer. Wolverines take a 13-point lead.
Charles Matthews letting the game come to him. He's not forcing up any shots. Wide open 3 there, and that all starts with the Xavier Simpson penetration.
Foul called on John Teskey right before Chris Silva was about to shoot. Silva has really done a lot to keep the Gamecocks in this one. He leads the team with 14 points, although Kotsar is not far behind with 12. And Lawson has 10, so an international affair from the Gamecocks. 3 different international players, their leading scorers with double digits. Lawson, a Canadian, much like his fellow freshman Canadian, Ignas Brazdeikis.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much from Moss tonight, though. I thought it was going to be a Moss versus Brazdeikis shootout, the 2 freshmen from Canada, but Moss hasn't played particularly too well today. Brazdeikis has done a pretty good job, though, doing what he does, creating shots and playing pretty good defensively.
Lawson and Brazdeikis are both from the Toronto area, although Brazdeikis does, I guess, have a background also with a fellow Baltic nation descendant in Maik Kotsar. Both were so Kotsar born in Estonia, Brazdeikis born in Lithuania. So those countries do not quite neighbor. Latvia splits the 2 of them apart.
And how about R.J. Barrett from Duke, another freshman in college basketball that's making some noise this year?
Indeed, and you could argue the first 2 were a bit underscouted because they are Canadian. R.J. Barrett, though, the number 1 overall recruit, not a bit underscouted at all. But Brazdeikis and A.J. Lawson have both been very strong impact freshmen. Lawson was ranked about 147th going into the year, which was definitely too low. And Brazdeikis ranked around 40th, also far too low, as they have proven early in the season.
Yeah. And how about Brazdeikis? He still makes some freshman mistakes defensively. But offensively, he's just so creative, and he's done a pretty good job of not turning the ball over. He gets to the basket with force and is able to kind of go up with his right hand, then his left hand, and then back to his right hand. And he's really been a big force for this Michigan team. And, not a lot of people saw it coming, but, he's definitely solidified his spot in the starting 5.
He absolutely has. The Wolverines' leading scorer. He has earned every right to be the starter for every single game this year.
And he doesn't particularly like to shoot from the outside, but if he has an open 3, he'll take it and he'll make it.
He did on that last Wolverines possession. It was a bit short. Charles Matthews, who is not a great 3-point shooter either, did convert, though. Yeah. He was also left wide open. And that's part of the gravity that Xavier Simpson has. He's such a small guy. He really does attract a lot of attention while he's dribbling the ball, trying to crash to the rim. Yeah. And that frequently results in other Wolverines might be a bit better from a shooting perspective. And
I kind of hinted at it earlier when Xavier Simpson made a nice cross-court pass to Jordan Poole. When Xavier Simpson's driving to the basket, he can make these quick passes with one hand and put it right on the money. And, that's the key to making shots and being a good 3-point shooting team is good passes. And Xavier Simpson's one of the best distributors in the nation because he can draw 2 or 3 defenders and then make a pass on the money. And he kind of sees guys out of the corner of his eyes and peripheral vision. And he's been able to find some 3-point shooters today. And he has been able to do that the entire season, in fact.
He absolutely has been very successful in helping develop the offense so far today. As a shooter, he doesn't offer too much, but he does just about everything right, both on offense and defense. And that makes him incredibly valuable to the Wolverines, who lead by 13 as Jordan Poole is about to go to the line following a technical foul. So it's a team foul assessed for unsportsmanlike behavior. I believe that came against head coach Frank Martin. Jordan Poole sinks the first one of his 2 free throws as everyone else stands from half court watching Poole. Wolverines now lead 74-60. The second one also is in, so that makes it a 15-point lead, the biggest of the day for the Wolverines.
Jordan Poole, hailing from La Lumiere High School. He actually came from Milwaukee. He was there for his freshman through junior year, and then senior year transferred to La Lumiere, a private academy in Indiana. It was actually roommates with Jaren Jackson, the Michigan State star who was drafted top 5 and is now in the Memphis Grizzlies, who's having a pretty good NBA season as a rookie. And then Brian Bowen, controversial college player for the Louisville Cardinals, who actually didn't play his freshman year because of some problems with recruiting. But yeah, Jordan Poole has some experience playing in these big time games, and that's why he's been so effective and at such a young age here at Michigan.
Chris Silva sinks the first free throw. The second is missed and recovered by Jordan Poole. Michigan moves the ball up quickly and finds John Teske beneath the rim, but he cannot finish. And now South Carolina will retake possession, down 14.
You like to see John Teske maybe come down with that ball.
And 2 really athletic guys. Keyshawn Bryant dunks over Charles Matthews. Matthews had a chance to maybe make a block there or maybe take a foul. However, Bryant is able to finish the dunk and cut Michigan's lead down to 12. Teske with the ball up top finds Ignas Brazdeikis below the rim, and he cannot convert, but he is fouled by Chris Silva. I believe that's going to be Silva's 4th foul against him, and that would be quite an issue for the Gamecocks.
John Beilein coaching up John Teske right there. Like I said, John Beilein wanted John Teske to come down with that ball, maybe make a shot fake, and then maybe get an and one there, but Teske decided to stay in the air and make a kind of a funny alley-oop attempt as Brazdeikis goes to shoot 2.
And with that foul, the Wolverines now enter the double bonus. They are leading in team fouls 10-5, maybe trailing, you could put it that way. Brazdeikis sinks his 8th free throw of the day. He is 8 for 9 right now. Looking very good from the charity stripe.
South Carolina decides to switch up the front court there. Hasse and Coates are checking back in for the Gamecocks.
They certainly will have to make adjustments now with Chris Silva having 4 fouls. He has kept them in this game with 15 points. Brazdeikis sinks his 9th free throw, and that brings them up to making 8 of his last 9. 9 for 10 on the day. Wolverines lead by 14. And the Gamecocks are going to have to do a lot here to make up for Chris Silva, who will be on the bench for a considerable amount of time. 7 minutes to go, and he has 4 fouls. Lawson now with the ball, guarded by Xavier Simpson. Double team now with Teske coming in, and the Gamecocks are going nowhere. 4 seconds to shoot. Hinson has the ball, has to fire a contested 3, and that one is recovered by John Teske easily. Not a good possession at all there for the Gamecocks.
Michigan doing a good job on the perimeter, not allowing South Carolina to drive to the basket and forcing up a 3.
Jordan Poole now with the ball, going to the rim, lobs it up to John Teske, who completes the alley-oop and lights up Crisler Arena as the Wolverines take a 79-63 lead.
We see it again and again, just lobbing up to Jordan or lobbing up to Teske. And Jordan Poole drew 5 defenders almost. Everyone had their eyes on him, and he just kind of lobs it up, and Teske knew it was coming. And they do that in practice all the time.
Personal foul assessed against John Teske, and that brings him up to 4 personal fouls. So the 2 highly effective big men for both teams getting each other into foul trouble. So Isaiah Livers comes in for John Teske. It's possible that's the last we'll see of him now that he's in foul trouble. Scarlet Knights are in the bonus now. Their next foul will result in a 1-and-1. A.J. Lawson cannot convert from beyond the arc, and that ball is rebounded by countryman Ignas Brazdeikis. Xavier Simpson now takes the ball and leads the Wolverine offense with just under 6 minutes to go. Michigan looking to maybe get back to another 20-point victory. Poole taking his time and loses the ball. That is picked up, and there's going to be a fast break here for the Gamecocks. Kelly Bryant, who got the steal, drives to the rim, is fouled before the shot that did go through. Isaiah Livers is going to be charged with that personal foul. And now 10 fouls against the Gamecocks and 7 against the Wolverines. South Carolina is now in the bonus.
Keyshawn Bryant double-team Jordan Poole right there. And you like to see some of the Wolverines call out that Bryant's coming behind Poole because he had no idea. Poole with his another turnover this game. I think it's only a second, actually. And Bryant converts the three-point play the old-fashioned way.
So my bad. The basket did count. It was a 3-point play that the Gamecocks converted. So 13-point lead for the Wolverines. 5.5 to play here. And Michigan has committed a very un-John Beilein-like 15 turnovers. Livers is open for 3. That ball goes through, and the Wolverines are back up top 16 rather, 82-66.
Yeah, hitting that three-point shot makes Isaiah Livers such a dangerous player offensively. We haven't seen him hit that many shots this year, but he puts that one in from the top of the key.
Livers is 3 for 6 from beyond the arc today. Bryant fires up a lob to Kotsar, who is fouled. Could not finish it, but Charles Matthews is called with a foul. That brings him up to 3 on the day. He is now in foul trouble. And the Wolverines have committed 13 as a team so far, which is a lot more than they have. This has been a much more offensive game than the Wolverines are used to. Both teams moving the ball quickly.
Yeah, and that's what you knew this game was going to be with how fast South Carolina, kind of pushes the ball up the floor and draws a lot of fouls.
Kotsar converts to the front end, so that will make it 82-67. South Carolina's going to have to get going quickly if they want to get back in this one. Michigan, meanwhile, has only allowed one team to stay within 17 of them. That was Northwestern. Right now it's a 16-point lead as Kotsar converts his second. 14-point lead, rather. Bad math on my part. Simpson taking his time, trying to penetrate in toward the rim. Gives the ball to Matthews, who immediately gives it right back to Simpson. Now he fires a contested 3, and that one is no good. Kotsar is 6'11", has nearly a foot in height over Simpson, and Simpson decided to shoot over him anyway.
Simpson testing the waters in the three-point land. He was 0 for 5 Tuesday night against Northwestern.
Kotsar is too scared of Isaiah Livers to continue driving toward the basket. Finds Gravett from beyond the arc. Simpson with the hand in his face. Does not matter as Gravett sinks that one. 82-71, and South Carolina will just not go away in this one.
No, they will not. Right when Michigan gets their 14-point lead, they come back and nail a 3.
Jordan Poole is able to make an impressive break to have Gravett's momentum carry him away from Poole. Poole decides not to shoot. Instead goes to the rim and is rejected. An impressive block there by, I believe, to be Keyshawn Bryant of the South Carolina Gamecocks. It was indeed. It looked, the whole stadium kind of held their breath. Yeah. They thought that it was going to be all day right there for Poole. Instead, out of nowhere, Keyshawn Bryant flew it and rejected that one. Ball still out of bounds, and it will remain Wolverine ball. Under 4-minute timeout now with 3:57 to go. Wolverines just about have locked this one up, but they sure would like to make this another 17-point win or more. They only lead by 11, though, so that will be a bit of an uphill battle. What are your thoughts from this maybe somewhat unimpressive week from Wolverine basketball? They got the nod, became a top 5 team this Monday, and now they're going to look to be 2-0 in this week.
Yeah, coming off that Northwestern game where we didn't shoot the ball, Michigan didn't shoot the ball too well. And they shot a little better today, but I think that Northwestern game was kind of, a game where it kind of woke us up, especially against teams that are going to play their own ways. Northwestern played their own way with that kind of zone defense they played, and South Carolina is going to play their own way today. I think it's impressive that Michigan kind of adapted to playing in different styles of games. Northwestern was a bit of a slower game, but this was a bit of a faster game, and I think Michigan's going to come out with 2 wins against 2 completely different teams. That's what you got to do in March, and that's what they did in December. So I think it's impressive. Michigan didn't really play their best. It wasn't like UNC and Purdue where they were knocking down every shot and it looked really easy. These aren't easy wins, and I think Michigan, the fact that they just got the job done, or hopefully will get the job done in this game with 3 minutes remaining, I think that's just impressive in and of itself.
The Wolverines have gotten the job done against Northwestern. That was a team that was hitting everything, even the bad-looking threes.
Yeah.
The only really ugly 3 they took that didn't seem to go with was the very last one that ended the game and helped the Wolverines narrowly escape with a victory. Outside of that, though, the Wolverines have been almost perfect on the year. Had it not been for that Northwestern game, this would be the closest anyone has played them. And the defense was just fine in that game. They held Northwestern to 60 points in Evanston, and that was with a couple of really highly contested shots going in. The offense really struggled there. And the offense has scored 82 here, but I think they're to blame for the reason why Michigan has given up 70 points for the first time all year, because they've committed 15 turnovers. I mean, that's a lot of points for just spotting the Gamecocks.
You know, give good credit to South Carolina. You know, they played their own game today. That's forced turnovers and push the ball and not really use the three-point shot a lot, but really force the ball down low. And they've done that all day long, and that's why they're still in this game, Daniel. They're only down 11. You know, and if South Carolina maybe plays like this the rest of the season, they may have a chance in the SEC to, you know, make it to the dance. But that SEC is not easy this year. Kentucky's always good. Tennessee's going to be very good this season. Auburn's a talented team. You know, the SEC and Big Ten are not easy conferences. And once that conference play starts, you know, you got to be all in.
So following the Keyshawn Bryant block on Jordan Poole, Michigan will inbound it. It looks like Isaiah Livers will be in charge of the inbound. And it waiting still with 11 seconds on the shot clock. They find Xavier Simpson to inbound it to. The crowd is counting down the shot clock as Simpson is swatted away by Kotsar. That's the second time in a few minutes now we've seen Simpson try to tempt Kotsar, and he's easily blotted. Going for a trademark Xavier Simpson skyhook. It's been incredibly effective for a 6-foot player, but that's not going to work against the 6'11 Estonian.
And that's why South Carolina is one of the best teams in the nation in their 2-point defensive efficiency. You know, they're not going to allow easy baskets like that. As Beeline's going to call another timeout here.
So with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, John Beilein calls timeout, regroups his players. They're going to have to go quickly here. And, yeah, Kotsar has really been effective on defense. He is scared away. He averages 1.1 blocks per game, which isn't fantastic, but really made his height present here today. And Michigan really, in such a tall team like this, maybe that's exposed a way Michigan can be beaten. Now, given most teams don't have two really gifted near 7-footers on their team, so that makes John Teske being the real only true big man here who gets significant playing time for the Wolverines. Austin Davis normally comes in for Teske. If you do have two really tall players, that can maybe be a way to challenge the Wolverines on offense. But right now, that has not been proven enough to keep the Gamecocks in this game. 3:50 to play. Jordan Poole fires from way downtown, hits the rim, refreshes the shot clock, but doesn't matter because it's recovered by Chris Silva, who feeds the ball to Trey Campbell. Campbell finds Hinson. The ball now in Gravitt's hand. Back to Campbell. To Silva down low, guarded by Ignas Brazdeikis. Silva now trying to drive in, and Xavier Simpson actually gets his hand on the ball. However, Mike Kotsar ends up getting the ball and fires a mid-range 2 that goes through.
You know what, Daniel? We haven't seen much of that tonight where there's been a post entry and then a guard has kind of picked down to help. You know, I wish I would see that more because, you know, the bigs aren't really going to pass it out to the perimeter because they're not a 3-point shooting team. So I kind of like that, you know, Xavier Simpson kind of helps and dives and kind of tries to pick the ball away.
And it just about nearly worked. However, the ball ended up in Mike Kotsar's hands, who converted from 2. Isaiah Livers now with the ball, takes his 7th 3-point attempt of the day and makes his 4th.
Isaiah Livers getting into a rhythm here. We love to see that because he can be a 3-point threat. That kind of adds another level to this offense.
Number 4's 4th 3-pointer ends up making the difference in this game. 12-point lead, 12 points coming off Livers' 3-pointers. Keyshawn Bryant drives to the rim and lays in an easy one. So 85-75, Wolverines are going to win this game, but maybe not by the margin they had anticipated.
Yeah, not a strong defensive performance from Charles Matthews, who's known as a pretty good defender, but you know you cannot allow Keyshawn Bryant to go to the baseline there.
Simpson now with the ball finds Isaiah Livers, gives it immediately to Poole, who finds Matthews in the corner, and that one's just a bit too long. Hits the far side of the rim and bounces out.
Just a few more defensive stops, and Michigan can lock up this game.
With 2 minutes to go, Trey Campbell holds the ball. The Gamecocks will have to go quickly. They find Silva down low, but Simpson comes in and knocks the ball loose. Charles Matthews ends up catching it, and that might have put this game away.
Yeah, they'll use all 30 seconds on the shot clock here. Let's see if Michigan can get a pretty good shot here. Maybe a Jordan Poole open 3, run a hitter for him.
Poole with the ball, guarded by Gravitt. Still holding it. It's going to go to the rim. That's contested, but it goes through off the backboard. Wolverines now lead by 12 with 1:32 to play in this one.
Yeah, if you're going to push up on the Wolverines, you got players like Brazdeikis and Poole who can drive right by you. And you saw Jordan Poole's athleticism and speed right there.
The Gamecocks have slowed this one down a bit, maybe just looking to put points on the board, acknowledging this one may very well be over. They find Chris Silva down low, who makes an impressive move to get both Isaiah Livers and Ignis Brazdeikis to lose him. An easy finish for Chris Silva. So 87-77, and Silva has had himself a game. He is now up to a total of 19 points.
Yeah. Once again, South Carolina not going away. I think the biggest lead Michigan had today was 15 or 16 points.
16 at one point.
16, but South Carolina came right down to the other end and either hit a 3 or a quick basket. So
congratulations to the Gamecocks. They're going to be able to say they played a top 10 team, the second closest of anyone all year.
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina came to Crisler and they lost by 17. Barring some very quick and inappropriate scoring that would be seen as running up the score, the Wolverines are going to win this one by less than 17.
Yeah, they will.
Maybe a closer game that you might be interested in. Michigan State leads Florida by 4. That game in Gainesville. 1:52 to play in that one. Michigan State with the ball. We'll let you know if we have any more updates on that one. Florida has just gotten a rebound, though, so that one will be interesting to follow. That's, of course, a big Big Ten score. Northwestern was in trouble last time we checked in on them. Down 14 to perennial Big East basement dweller DePaul. And Northwestern now is winning. They were down 14 last time we checked. There's 25 seconds left, and Northwestern is up by 5. Jack, you're a Chicago guy. Want to give any analysis on that Chicagoland matchup?
Collins is doing a good job. He's getting some pretty good recruits in there. He's got guys staying all 4 years, some veteran players with, Law and I can't think of the other guy's name. Pardon, yeah, there you go. There's some good players, Like you said, Daniel, when the Big Ten comes around, a lot of teams will beat up on each other. And, maybe Northwestern comes out with, 9 or 10 wins in the Big Ten.
Xavier Simpson now receives the inbound. South Carolina has gone to full press, so they have not said die quite yet. They find Brazdeikis, though, down low, who cannot quite convert his pass to Charles Matthews, and that will be a 16th turnover for the Wolverines offense.
Wow. South Carolina doing a good job switching it up there, playing a full court press zone, forces a turnover, and now they have a chance to maybe make this an 8 or 7 point game here with a minute left.
South Carolina will have to score very quickly if they want to have any chance of winning this one. Bryant with the ball. And now Kotsar gives it back to Campbell. Down to Silva down low, who is guarded by Isaiah Livers. Two big bodies going up against each other. Livers makes Silva work for that one, but fouls him en route to a missed shot. 38.5 to go. Silva will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. For a big guy, he's shot pretty well from free throws. Actually, I take that back. He's 2 for 5. He made his first 2, though, and that impressed me. Has missed 3 in a row since.
Yeah, he's a big body. He's 6'9", senior from Gabon. Where's that?
That is a Central African nation on the Atlantic coast. He misses his 6th free throw attempt, now falls to 2 for 6. It's a medium-sized African country right on the equator, so he's come a long way here to be playing a basketball game in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It must be a lot warmer in Gabon right now, where it's neither really summer or winter as we approach the winter solstice. Silva makes his 2nd free throw, cutting the game down to single digits now. South Carolina continues to play full press.
Try to keep the ball in Jordan Poole or Brazdeikis' hands, Michigan's best 2 free throw shooters.
And that strategy worked. Brazdeikis is fouled by Silva, who that will end his game. He is fouled out. So Silva, the senior from Gabon, has had a really great game, ends up with 18 points, but is fouled out with 30 and 1/10 of the second remaining. As Ignis Brazdeikis, who is 9 for 10, will go to the line, maybe try to re-extend Michigan's lead to double digits. That would look nice to the AP poll voters should Michigan get another double-digit victory, although there's really no opportunity to move up in the rankings this week.
No, I mean, Gonzaga has a tough test in Tennessee tomorrow, I believe. And
okay, so yeah, there could be room potentially, although Tennessee could potentially leapfrog Michigan with the win as well. So
yeah, they're a good team this year. Quick, athletic.
Brazdeikis makes the first of 2 free throws. That brings the game back up to a 10-point lead, 88-78. And he now has made 11 of 12, making it 89-78. Michigan might have found their new Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman in terms of the go-to guy on free throws.
Yeah.
Kotsar tries to get a quick basket, cannot. Simpson gets the rebound, 20 to play. And South Carolina's not given up yet. Still playing full court press. Brosdakis now has the ball, and South Carolina has led up. Brosdakis will just dribble the game out. 10, 9, 8 to play. And the crowd here at Crisler Center has gotten up on their feet to applaud a valiant effort from both teams. Wolverines will win by 11 as the final horns sound. Hail to the victors plays. Wolverines win 89-78.
Give credit, Daniel, to the South Carolina Gamecock team. The game plan today was to push the pace, create turnovers, and they did both those things, and that's why they were still in this game. Michigan's a top 5 team without a doubt, and they can blow the doors off teams, but, the South Carolina team played to their strengths, and that's why this game was close. But down the stretch, it was really Michigan kind of hitting those three-point shots. You saw Livers hit 2 3-pointers in the second half, and then, nailing the free throws when Michigan entered the double bonus. So Michigan closed this one out, but definitely closer than we expected.
So in the week where the Wolverines are ranked 5th in the country, they played 2 games, one very close victory against Northwestern on the road, and then a maybe not close game, but closer than many would have expected. Wolverines stay undefeated, though, get their 10th win on the season, first time being 10-0 since 2012, and that season ended in a Final Four trip for the Wolverines. They're coming off a Final Four trip. Maybe they can make it 2 straight.
Yeah.
That is light years in the future, though, right now for the Wolverines.
Yeah.
They have 3 easy home games ahead of them, though.
Yeah, and against those teams, you got to focus on things you need to work on. That's free throw shooting. That's 3-point shooting. These last 2 games, we kind of struggle from 3. Livers kind of saved us in the second half, but there's a lot of kinks we need to work out before conference play starts. So, we may win those games by 20, but you got to take those games pretty seriously and, take them game by game, work on things you need to work on, and have a few good weeks of practice. And, Penn State, Indiana, Illinois, it's going to be a fun Big Ten schedule in the new year.
Number 6, Nevada won last night on the road against a ranked Arizona State team. Michigan might have worries about getting jumped by them, but right now Michigan just needs to take care of business ahead of them. If they keep winning, they will be very highly ranked going into the tournament. Michigan finishes the first of 6 consecutive home games with a win. We'll have all of the next 5 for you here on WCBN Sports, including games like Binghamton. So we will be delivering you Michigan basketball for a long time, all the way up through that Illinois game. We thank you for joining us. I've been Daniel Thompson alongside Jack Molina. How do I mess that up? Overthought that one. Thank you. Alongside Jack Molino, I've been Daniel Thompson. Evan Osterly on the call as well. We wish you, as always, a good day and a Go Blue.